Hey, folks, welcome to our podcast. Today, Church on the Hill has a podcast called On This Hill. And typically it's Pastor Jason and I, but I have a guest today. And my guest is Jeff Nelson. Jeff and I have known each other for quite a few years, actually a few decades, I think.
3 decades.
Three
at least.
decades. We were together in missions and Youth with a Mission way back in the day. And that was pretty much your whole career. I was I was there
off
for
right
about
at-
15 or 16 years and then pastoring here at Church on the Hill. So thanks for being with us.
Yeah, great to be here.
Yeah. One of the things we wanted to talk about today that might be of interest is a current event that's been bubbling for several years now, and that is the nation of Ukraine. And Jeff has helped lead a team and a series of teams over the last few years there. Here at Church on the Hill, we love missions. We do lots of missions. I was just telling them right before we started that just in a few weeks, we've got about 190 kids and parents that'll be going out during spring break to various locations, Dominican Republic, Mexico, East Coast of the United States, working with some street evangelism on college campuses. And so that's a great experience. And you and I, obviously, we believe in that because we see how it changes people. Why is that? Why do you think even a short-term 2-week, 3-week outreach, why is that so transformational?
It changed my life. It's really why I came into full-time mission work for 32 years, because first 9 years of my marriage, I was a contractor builder lived in a remote island in Alaska, but we would come out to do our doctor, dentist, et cetera, see the grandparents and all that. Our first 9 years were married. But every time we came out, we led a mission trip from our church, would fly all the way from Alaska, go all the way down to Central America, and we went to Guatemala, Honduras, Belize, and built orphanages and churches and stuff. And we did that for like 9 years in a row, our first years of marriage. And it was like, I was hooked. I was like, I got to do this all the time.
Yeah. Where was your first outreach then? Was it?
To Guatemala.
Yeah.
Building an orphanage in Guatemala. Yeah. And we went back there a few times.
Yeah.
My kids grew up then going on these trips and going on mission building trips. And
exposes us to not only another culture, but to the heart of God, right? I mean,
that's
you get
where
a sense.
you get, you get changed as much or more than anybody that you're going to serve. I mean, your life is changed. You think it's all for them, but really so much happens in your life.
And it's a never-ending job. Our world is always in need, and wherever you go, there's going to be people who need to hear the gospel, who need some kind of help, some kind of assistance, which kind of brings us to this particular podcast is about Ukraine, like I mentioned. And Ukraine's been in the news a lot.
4 years ago today, I think it is.
Yeah, it was today or yesterday was the anniversary.
Yeah.
And Ukrainian people are amazing. I've been there myself, teaching in some of the schools. This is a few years ago, and just admire them so much. They are a very strong and in a good way, proud of their heritage, resilient people. Second largest country in Europe after Russia, I believe. But they're like at they're geographically they're at crossroads in all the wars over the last 500, 700, 800 years. People march back and forth across Ukraine, whether that was Russia or Germany or the different empires, and so they've been a troubled people. Maybe that's why they're so resilient, huh?
They are. Wow. My very first year, quick story where I just was so humbled. But two grandmas walking down the street with about 8 cows, and they're walking them out. And this is in a village where we're building homes, and we saw them coming, walking back near the end of the day when we were loading up our van, finishing day of work. And I went over to them and I brought the translator. And I just wanted to greet these grandmas, and they had these beautiful scarves on. The colors.
Yeah, very colorful.
And I said, "Man, that's a beautiful scarf. You look so nice. That's a beautiful scarf." And she immediately said to me, "Oh, you can have this. Take this to your wife."
Sure.
And they have nothing,
typical. So typical. You don't want to admire something because they're going to give it to you.
And I'm like, no. I just wanted to say how nice you look, and no, don't, But then I asked her, "Were you here when the Russians bombed your village?" And they both said, "Yeah." And then, can you tell me some? And she said, "We were here the night they bombed, and we got our family we left, and they didn't come back for 2 or 3 weeks. But here she said, here's the thing. She's saying this with just such a straight face.
Yeah. Matter of fact, almost.
Yeah, matter of fact. And here's what she said, just matter of fact. She said, we came back 10 days later. Our house was destroyed. I buried my husband and my nephew.
Yeah.
And I am in charge of the family now. And we will go on.
Yeah. Yeah.
And she just said it.
For us, we're like,
you buried your husband?
Apart. Yeah.
What? You know, and she just said it matter of fact, and I am in charge. We go on.
Yeah. That's amazing. And that's what they've done for centuries and centuries. So we're filming this right now. We're in February, but there's a team leaving from Church on the Hill from our city. And when is that team going?
We don't leave till June. And there'll be other teams from around the world coming for the first, was called Wave of Hope. And June 4th, we're leaving till the 15th. And we stop in Moldova for a few days and do ministry there.
Okay. We'll go back to Moldova in a second, but where do you land? Where's the actual site that you're working in Ukraine in relation to maybe where the conflict is now, the war is now?
Well, we'll go into Moldova and then meet all the other teams that are coming from around the world, and we'll be bused in past Odessa, about an hour and a half past Odessa, so the southeast corner of Ukraine, in a city of Mykolaiv is the city, will be only like 40 miles from the front line.
From the front line, so.
Yeah, so they'll be just east of us, the front line. But yeah, there's...
So maybe people who aren't familiar, you can't just fly into Ukraine. It's a no-fly zone.
No flying.
And so you guys fly into, and you get into Moldova, which is the neighboring country.
Right.
Then you train over or bus over.
Bus. We have to hire a bus. It's expensive because who wants to drive?
Who wants to drive into Ukraine?
40 miles from the front line.
Yeah.
So so that's an expensive part of the trip, kind of to hire individual bus drivers to have the.
So most of us listening right now have no frame of reference for being in a war zone, unless you were literally in the military. So maybe that would be the case with you. But for you guys, you're taking teams in there, and so. You're like this little babushka that you mentioned, this grandma. You guys get on the ground and you're working with people who have lost their homes. And so what's the goal of the outreach, at least in Ukraine? What are you guys trying to accomplish?
Well, it's called Waves of Hope. And these people, their stories. Last year, I got to hear, we built 18 homes. Between all our teams last year, we built 18 homes. I went in a few weeks ahead of our team and worked on every site, preparing the sites before the teams came. And I got to hear all 18 stories. Oh my gosh. Yeah. Amazing stories of these people. But the goal, the people that we're building a home for, they have to own the property. They got to own the property.
A piece of land of some
They have to have the piece of land.
Something.
And their house, you'll drive down the streets in this village and 30 to 50% of the homes in the village are destroyed. They're just a pile of bricks, and some metal and wood, and just a big pile from being hit by missiles. And some of the families that were in last year, one of the first home that I built last year, they've been living in a tent for a year and a half.
In Ukraine.
In Ukraine.
In the
78-year-old and an 81-year-old.
Wow.
And they were living in a glorified tent. It was a little, Tyvek canvas tent that was maybe 10 by 12 for a year and a half on their property. So they're living.
And it gets cold in Ukraine in the winter.
This winter is the worst winter that they've had in decades. And I've been watching the reports. It's got all the way down to 20 below. Right now it's close to zero or a little bit below. And they're having to live in very...
Yeah.
So bringing hope to them, but then the homes are just the avenue to share Jesus with them. And,
right.
And we share, we want to build a home for them so they have a warm place, but we also want to share the gospel.
Talk about the home real quick. What does that look like? The literal home.
Nothing like what we built here. Of
course,
I've been a builder before I was a missionary. I was a builder here. Nothing, no hammer, no nails. It's basically like a freezer building. It's they're panels, they're foam panels with metal skin on each side. And the team that prepped before, there's a slab ready, and then there'll be channels bolted down on the slab, and we slide these panels into the channels and foam them and rivet. Everything is drilled and riveted together. So the walls, the roof, everything, you cut out your windows and doors through the metal and the foam, and everything's drilled and riveted.
Yeah. So not very big, I assume. We've
Well,
done this in Mexico, but I'm
they're a little bigger than the homes in Mexico. They're 2-bedroom, like a 2-room. They're about 550 square feet.
like a tiny home here, maybe a little
So
bigger.
three windows and a door, and like 2 rooms.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
and it's plumbed for a bathroom.
how long does it take from start to finish? You get there, you start to go to work.
Well, you get 3 days to build each home. We're going
Okay.
to build 2 homes. We got 6 days to build 2 homes. My team the last 2 years, we built our 2 homes in just a little over 5 days, and then we had an extra day that we helped other teams that didn't complete their homes, and we did other ministry to do it. So,
Yeah.
but I had last year I had Jim Dickey, like
Right.
that counts as 3 guys
Yeah,
right
it's
there.
like 3 men.
Jim.
Yeah. So Jeff, talk about 2 or 3 days you're there. This team is there. You've got a couple translators or a
Yep.
translator on each team,
Yep.
and we'll go to that in just a second. But you finish, and then what? You hand them the keys. What's
that's
that look like when
really
you
cool
when you hand?
thing. They have a
this
custom
family?
there when you get a new home anywhere. When you get a new home in Ukraine, they have a really cool. We have a ceremony, and that's actually when we share the gospel too. When we'll share about what does it mean to have the keys to the kingdom. Like there's a home, everlasting home that God's preparing for us, and we share the message of the gospel clearly with them. Then, but we present the owner. We ask them if they want to accept Jesus, and we've had some amazing, incredible whole families accepting Jesus. And
So
their
the
kids
people
and-
that you are scheduled to build for aren't all necessarily believers or Christians.
No, they aren't. Some are. Last year, one of the 2 homes that we built for, they were believers, and they really had a come to Jesus moment when their house got bombed, because it's a miracle they lived through it, a total miracle.
Wow.
And but we definitely share the gospel with those who don't. My first year, only over 70 people came to the Lord in that outreach with everyone. And last year, I don't know all the numbers, but again, there was a lot of. They run a kids camp. At the same time we were building these homes, they're running a kids camp. There's
Okay.
a local church that works with us, which is really cool, and they run a kids camp. And so anyway, back to the ceremony at the end is really a cool thing in Ukraine. So we give them the keys, the owner, and they go in, they close all the windows, lock the door, and then we have the honor of being the first guests to their home.
Wow.
But we go up there, every team member has to go up and knock on the door, not just one. If you want to come into their home, you all knock, and then they open the door and they invite you in, and then we all go in, and then we pray a blessing over their home. We give a Bible to them and pray for the presence of God to be in this home and everything. But it's so funny. The one lady, the one year, as soon as we walked in, she, it's just a concrete floor and a
Just
empty
bare bones. Yeah.
bare bones. And her first thing was, "Oh, welcome to my home. Welcome. I am so glad. I'm so sorry. I didn't.
Don't have any tea and cookies.
I would prepare a meal for you. I would have a big spread. I'm so sorry that I didn't have the time. I
And
didn't.
they mean that.
Yeah,
They're not
and they
just
totally
saying
mean
that.
it. It's just like, oh, I wanted to have a big spread for you before you came in here. But
Wow.
yeah,
So Jeff, this is year 4 for your trip.
you're 3.
Year 3. The very first time I remember. The first time I built a home, again, it was down in Latin America, but the first time you walked through that handing the key, what was going through your head?
Well, the first time we did it, right before we handed them the keys, the mom and the dad and all 4 kids said they wanted to accept Jesus. So, wow, it was just a humbling, amazing moment. They were all kneeling down in the dirt, in the mud, and one of our guys, Ryan Hale, who's there, asked them, and they go, do you want to accept Jesus? And they go, da, 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 da. Come to the youngest boy, an 8-year-old boy, and he jumps up and goes, yes, I want Jesus. And so it was just a really holy moment. And the amazing thing is, I have never seen in all my years of ministry, working as missionary, I've never seen such a instant transformation of a life as that man, that father. Because day one, we're talking only 3 days before, day one, his arms are crossed. He's so anger and pain. You didn't have to be a counselor or anyone to see it. He was so angry, so mad.
And his circumstances?
His brother on the front lines hadn't heard from him in 3 weeks, and he's either dead or captured. And he wanted to go to the front lines and kill Russians. He's like, I got to go, but they won't let me. He was so angry that day because he had gone and see if he could, but he has 4 kids. They wouldn't take him because he has 4 kids. So he was so mad that he couldn't go revenge his brother. And so much anger and bitterness and hurt and pain. And 3 days later, it fell off of him. When he accepted God, he just,
A change right there.
and the next day, you know what he was doing the next day? He was preaching the next day. Day one Christian, he's preaching to a crowd in the city of Mykolaiv. He's telling what Jesus had done in his heart, you know.
Wow,
So
that's wild.
that was after that, it was like, this is why I go. And
So the ministry on the ground is Youth with a Mission,
right.
and the Waves of Hope
Waves of
is
Hope.
like that's the outreach arm of the home
Right.
building. Is that
Yeah.
correct? Yeah.
Homes of Hope is an international organization they're the ones that provide all those houses a lot in Mexico.
down in Mexico, yeah.
Homes of Hope is in over 23 countries, and they designed the specific home for the weather and the culture. So they are the ones that provide these materials for that homes.
Yeah. So the people that are on the ground full time in Ukraine, are they mostly? Is it an international group, or are they mostly Ukrainians?
Mostly Ukrainians. They're mostly Ukrainians.
Yeah.
The DTS students that they run, their DTS outreach will be working with us. And
Yeah.
so you'll get internationals there. But the teams that are coming to build the homes, the last 2 years, only 2 teams from the U.S. has gone, ours, Salem, and a church in Ohio. And then all the other teams have been from other countries, Brazil, Netherlands, Romania, Germany.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So around the world.
Yeah.
But believers who all go
Yep.
in the name of Jesus build a house for a family that
Amen.
may or may not know the Lord, but the whole idea is to share the gospel.
Yep.
So to do that, like you're building 2, you got your team of how many? 8 people?
8 people.
This year, this June are going to build 2. What's it cost to pull that off?
Well, we need to raise $10,000 for each home that we're going to build. And 20,000, and that's why we've been doing a lot of talking about this month early, because we have to have that 20,000 by the end of March, so that they can pour the slabs and order all the materials and get it all there ahead of time. So we need the 25,000 is our goal, because we're also doing an outreach in Moldova with a women's shelter there, and then so that's the outreach funds that we need for the
Just
homes.
to make it happen.
Yeah, and then each individual on the team has to raise $2,800 for their flights and ground fees and all that.
Yeah. So if someone was to ask you, again, I'm going to go to Moldova in a second, but if someone was to ask you, gosh, that's a lot of money.
Yeah.
Wouldn't it be easier, better just to send that money over there? How do you respond to that? Because you and I have heard that over the years.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a lot of money. Is it the most effective use of funds and so forth? What do you say to someone who says that?
Well, it got me, and it changed my life. And I have 32 years being a missionary because of going on short-term trips. And I'm not the only one. There's lots of people, their lives have been changed. We are in this outreach, we are hiring local Ukrainians to pour the slabs to do that. The rest of it is all these teams coming. It changes our life, and also the Ukrainians. They were so, everyone that we built for, and the other teams, all the other teams said the same. They are so amazed that people from around the world care.
Right.
And I mean, their own people coming to help them. Okay, but why would you come from Brazil? And why would you? And that's their first questions. And even on the city, in the streets of Mykolaiv, they're going, "What are you doing here? Like, why are you here? Like, the front lines, 40 miles. Why are you here? Because we want to bring hope, and we want to tell you where there's everlasting hope." And they're astounded. They're just and it opens conversation with them. People that don't know at all. They'll sit down and talk to you because they're just astounded that you would come from.
Yeah. That's
Yeah,
baffling.
and they had kind of the same thing. Well, why don't you just hire someone here? Like why would you come here? And
Because the gospel says to go.
that's right, it does.
I mean, it makes perfect sense from our end. And
Yeah.
I think, again, I've heard that over the years in my career. And there's like this assumption that there's only limited slices of the pie. Like God's pie is only so big. So don't use it all up over here where, God's resources are unlimited. And
Yeah, I really love this outreach because, and I think I told you, staff after the first year, because how we are working with Ukrainians at the same time and internationals coming. The church that's working with us is totally bought into this. And their church, pretty much all their focus is that week on serve. Everybody in that church has some part serving.
this is the church there on the ground.
The church on the
Ukrainian
ground.
church.
They are totally bought into working with us, helping us with meals and food and backup and running the kids camp and leading kids to the Lord. And it's like when these families came to the Lord, they are immediately there and they're immediately loving on them and getting them in a women's group, and they're getting they're picking them up and bringing them to church. Hey, we got stuff for your kids. They are immediately, they're totally involved.
Engaged with it.
So I love how it's not just Westerners or people coming and doing a program and walking away and what happens to these people? No, they got a great follow-up.
Yeah,
there.
giving them, and they when you leave, there's a home that they can
Yeah.
live in. The war is complicated. Politics is complicated. No one in their right mind would ever imagine a war solving, anything, and the aggression that you see. But do you see any? Do you see any? Like you mentioned, the guy whose heart was angry and bitter. Do you see any reconciliation, any hope of reconciliation, where people see beyond the politics, and they see another human being, or they see a fellow believer? You know what I mean? I think in our country here, in our church in the Hill, we have both Russian and Ukrainian, and like. Again, it's like what you see your country doing sometimes is embarrassing or unjust.
Yeah.
But as kingdom people, we sort of see past the politics. We have to, right? Where our citizenship is in heaven. I would imagine that there's that tension in that part of the world more than ever.
Yeah, we didn't really push like anything about forgiveness and all that. We just want to tell them how much they're loved and how much God loves them, and that there is a hope for them. There is a future, and God's got that. But that we never, you got to forgive your Russian people. No,
That's easy for us to say as outsiders, but
no, they're right in the middle of it. You turn around and their home's in a pile, and they've lost their son and in the war already, and we just wanted to love and give them.
Yeah, the hope of the gospel. Without the hope of the gospel, you're just going to have that never-ending conflict. Let's go back to Moldova. Because the home, as you're on your way to the sites to home build, you have a little stop, and you stop in Moldova. And Moldova's a little landlocked country, right next to Ukraine. It was a former Soviet republic and satellite. And but why Moldova? Besides the travel piece, what do you do there?
It's the really only entryway. Well, you can go in through Poland too, but it's the entryway to close to where we're going to be going. But there's a woman, Kelly Brandt, who 20 years ago went with a group from our church, Al Akamoff and his daughter, and Alex Sukowski, and they were doing a scouting mission, and they saw the really need of the human trafficking. Moldova is a huge human trafficking of women and kids, and this woman went back and started a ministry of rescuing women and kids off from the streets, and started a home, and she's been there 20 years. And we wanted to go and support her and help her. She doesn't get teams coming there at all. We're like her highlight of the year and so we spend 2 days in Moldova before we go into Ukraine, and we're going to have last year was really cool. We had two great women, Lou Vilian and Tatiana Polikov, both be able to speak their language, and Russian and Ukrainian, and they did a ministry day to those moms, to those women that have been so abused, and the men worked on the building and played with the kids.
The men on the team.
The men on the team took all the kids that day so the women could have this conference, and we took the kids and we fixed their riding toys and do painting and other things on the house and just play with the kids. They've never seen a healthy father or male figure at all. They're afraid of them, and so to have ones that just can love them like a father heart and just play with them and throw them in the air and wrestle on the ground with them and push them in their cars and fix their toys. They laugh, and Kelly was just weeping at watching them laughing with a man.
Yeah. And how does the home operate? I mean, how do the women who are being trafficked connect with the ministry? How does that work?
I'm not sure how she finds them all, but she has a network. She has network there with other Moldovans and some churches that help her with counseling and helping these women to learn a trade and just go through all the drama counseling and stuff. And she's providing the shelter, place for them to get to be loved on and to be away from what they've been in.
Yeah.
But she's developed this nonprofit herself, and it's just her and her husband doing all this, and with some local churches there, helping them out. So.
Will you guys be stopping there again on this trip?
Yeah, we have to. It's a highlight. Yeah, we definitely are. And our 2 women on our team, we have 6 men and 2 women on our team. One is Tatiana, who speaks again Ukrainian, Russian, and they'll be doing a ministry day with those women, and I think it's going to be a lot more focused one-on-one ministry, just praying and ministering to those women one-on-one while we play again with the kids and do stuff.
Yeah. You and I are familiar, with this kind of a ministry. We have several people out of Church on the Hill who are working in different countries, Indonesia, Latin America, working basically with human trafficking.
Right.
And that always is usually women and children. And that's an entire realm of missions. It's ugly, but it's real in this broken world. It's like the worst of the broken world. But when you guys are there, what do you hear? Like, what are you hearing? Like when you gave the key to the guys, for the family, for the house, you feel like you hear God. When you're there watching these kids or watching these women or being ministered to or ministering, what do you kind of hear in your spirit? You know what I mean? What do you kind of hear from God? Like how God feels about the whole thing?
Yeah, it's just me as a father. It's just, I'm crying most of the time, just that these kids have been so abused and so hurt, and they don't know what it means to be loved by a father, and to be able to laugh and enjoy and stuff. So I'm crying half the time playing with them, and these women, to see a light come on, that there's some hope, and our women that minister to them to see that, hey, they're coming out of it, and there is a future. That one thing, they've had this home now for quite a while. The value of it has grown a lot. We're going to actually the guys going to be doing repair things on the homes and painting a lot. They're going to be selling it soon in this next year, trying to sell it, and they've already looked at some property outside to have a bigger piece of property where they can have a farm setting and have animals and farms and different crafts and different skills that the women and the kids can learn and do, and have some room to run and play besides being in the middle of a city.
Right.
And I'm excited for that.
Yeah. So you leave June. If someone's listening to this right now and they feel like, I can't go, but I'd love to help you guys go, how could they do that? And what's the need right now? I know that just this last weekend, you guys shared it at our services, and you'll be sharing again here in our men's meeting and so forth. But how can they? Is there?
Yeah, we had that boat there Sunday to raffle, raising funds. But then also there's a
Wait, you raffled a boat?
Yeah, it's a really cool boat, a drift boat. And we're going to raffle it at the April 11th men's breakfast. But yeah, Alan Roche fixed up. Andy Stipe donated a really nice boat, and then needed a bunch of work, and Alan fixed it up nice. And yeah, we're raffling a boat,
And all the money in the
all the
raffle
money
goes towards
to
the
Moldova
expenses.
and Ukraine.
Yeah.
And then we also have a QR code that we showed Sunday. But if you go into the donation link in their church,
At Church on the Hill.
Church on the Hill.
Yeah.
If you go online and you look for the line Ukraine outreach or Ukraine building fund, that's Ukraine and Moldova building fund, and you can give that way online.
Yeah.
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 It'll all go towards that. And I think I shared a little bit Sunday. My biggest heart, and it was Alex's cry too when we dreamt of doing this a couple of years ago, was that our team would be known as just incredible, a servant's heart and love. That our team would love and serve. That they wouldn't be the best, fanciest, best builders, the quickest builders, but they're number one. That they would know that the team from COTH, Salem, loved and served like no other. And that was just Andy's and my little thing that we wanted to see. And the end of the second year, the leaders of the outreach came to us and said, your team from COTH sets the standard that we've never seen. He said, you guys love and serve like no other. And when the building's done, you're serving our staff. When you come back, you're doing all these things to serve the other teams even. She said, you're serving the other teams and the staff. Please keep sending people from COTH.
Yeah.
That was the best reward I could get as a leader,
I was reflecting on the words of Jesus while you were talking, where he said, inasmuch as you've done it unto one of these, the least of my brethren, you've done it unto me. And even a cup of cold water will not be without a reward. And so, I mean, on this side of heaven, there's no, rewards are paltry, but on the other side, one day, those kids who were rescued, or those women that were loved, or those people that received a home and found the Lord as a result, that's going to be quite a reunion.
Amen. I'm excited for that.
Yeah.
Many more this year.
Yeah.
And
you see yourself doing this every year? Lord willing?
I semi-retired from full-time mission work a couple of years ago. And after about not even 6 months, I was like, you can't retire from, you can't retire.
It's an illusion, folks.
Yeah, it's an illusion. You can't retire.
It's an American thing, really, isn't it?
It is. It's totally American thing. Now, do I get to fish more and crab more? Yeah. But this is my passion. This is my life, to keep doing missions and loving on serving wherever I can. And do that as long as I can keep walking.
Inspirational. You're an inspiration. And the team leaves June
4th.
June 4th.
June
Okay.
4th.
So just a few months away.
Yeah, still got time to buy raffle tickets and donate. And if you got prayers or words from the Lord for us, bring it. I will be getting a list here in the next week of all the physical stuff that the women and the kids needs at that shelter. They're going to send me. I've just forced her, tell me all the medical stuff and personal hygiene and clothes. What sizes of clothes and all that. I'm going to have that list. I don't know how, if you're interested, if they can get a hold on Church on the Hill, if you want to help with the practical things that we need to carry over to Moldova. You can call our office. Mike Hogue's our admin on the other end of the line, or myself. Grab me in a service, or Jeff is typically out at South Campus on Sundays at our 3 services. So if you're listening and you want to participate in that, just come find us. You've got time, but do it sooner than later. In the next week before our first team meeting, March 14th, I'll have the list of all the needs that they have before March 14th. So Sunday the 15th, anyone who wants to take part of that list and go, hey man, I'm going to cover this.
We'll get that posted on our website too. That way you can find it, kind of a common spot. Cool. So, okay. Well, Jeff, thanks. You're an inspiration. Thanks for being with us. And
Jesus is the reason for
yeah,
hope.
and thanks for just serving not just in Ukraine, but also here locally at Church on the Hill. Works on our missions, serves on our missions committee, with our men's ministry and a host of other things. Always willing to jump in, as well as the crab whisperer. Jeff is the crab whisperer. They jump into his traps and his boats. Well, everybody else is struggling. Jeff is on his way back to the dock.
A lot of practice. I gotta keep supplying you and Linda.
We like fresh crab.
You've never said no whenever I say you want some crab.
That's true. That's true.
You're good.
That's one of the blessings of living in Oregon, folks. Well, thanks for being with us. I hope you enjoyed it. If this was meaningful to you, pass it on to somebody else, forward it to somebody, tell them about it. And if you'd like to get involved with the Ukraine trip in the ways we just described, if you can't find it on our website, just give us a call at the church and we'll line you out. Jeff will be around on Sundays. Christmas is past. Easter's coming. Get ready. We're 5 weeks away. So you'll be hearing more about that in the next few weeks.
Yeah.
Take care. God bless.